Caitlin Clark's golf debut just made me so upset with the WNBA.
Instant panic hits WNBA after LPGA celebrated Caitlin Clark and showed they've got more brain cells than WNBA. Let's be real, the WNBA deserves a full-on Oscar for how brilliantly they've neglected a superstar like Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, the LPGA, they've got eagle eyes. They swooped in recognizing Clark's insane potential and used her star power to inject a fresh young vibe into women's golf.
Because the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
That's called respecting talent, but of course the WNBA wouldn't understand. They seem allergic to growth. Or maybe they're just clueless about how to handle a rare asset like Clark, someone who could actually give them a much-needed shot of oxygen. Instead, they continue fumbling while the LPGA watches their fan base grow and thrive. It's almost too painful to watch almost.
You see her at this event, you see the kind of noise that this is making, you see that this is trending on social media, you see that SportsCenter, Bleacher Report, all of these places, every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything.
And where do we even start with this masterpiece of incompetence known as the WNBA? The LPGA just delivered a marketing clinic that the WNBA should be taking notes on, except wait, the WNBA probably thinks it knows better. Caitlin Clark was invited to an LPGA event, and the whole thing blew up in a good way. We're talking an explosion of hype fans pouring in like never before, and an energy level that made women's golf feel like the most exciting thing on the planet. The LPGA didn't just dip their toes in the water, they cannonballed right in, and it paid off big time. But the WNBA, well, they were too busy having an existential crisis.
Like they did everything they could to sabotage their own league. And yeah, it backfired. For me anyway, I think it's hard to argue that it didn't completely backfire for them, because Caitlin Clark is more popular than ever.
Seriously, the LPGA knew what they were doing. They took one look at Caitlin Clark, a walking, talking sports phenomenon, and thought, yes, please. The result, thousands of new younger and more diverse than ever came to witness Clark's magic. The place was so lit it could have set off fire alarms. Women's golf got a much-needed jolt of energy, and the LPGA looked like geniuses for embracing her star power. Nelly Korda herself called Clark a breath of fresh air, and you know what, she wasn't lying. It felt like history in the making, a moment where you could just feel the sport leveling up in real time.
LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event, and they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world, and her name is Nelly Korda. So there are photos of Caitlin and Nelly literally everywhere.
And then there's the WNBA sulking in the background like a jealous ex. Instead of seeing this moment as a golden opportunity to uplift all women's sports, they got defensive, embarrassingly defensive. While the LPGA was having a party, the WNBA was that one person in the corner muttering, "But what about me?" Apparently, the mere existence of Caitlin Clark's fame was too much for their fragile egos. The league's reaction wasn't just lame, it was downright pathetic. Are they afraid of growth? Do they think staying stagnant is a winning strategy? Because from where I'm standing, it sure looks like they have a PhD and missing the point.
But there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television, and that was great. Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending.
The LPGA didn't just let Clark swing a few golf clubs and call it a day. No, they turned her appearance into an absolute spectacle. Attendance record shattered, fan engagement off the charts. People were camping out just to catch a glimpse of Clark like she was a rock star on a world tour. And here's the kicker, the LPGA took that momentum and ran with it. They engaged with these new fans, capitalized on the moment, and showed exactly how you market women's sports in the 21st century. Meanwhile, the WNBA, it's like they were asleep at the wheel, so caught up in their own insecurities they couldn't see the gold mine right in front of them.
And the LPGA was so smart in doing this because they knew that there would be so many eyeballs on Caitlin. So if they put their #1 golfer, who is currently leading the sport and pushing the sport ahead, if they put her next to Caitlin for the entire event, that's just great. It's great for Nelly, and it's great for everyone else.
And don't even get me started on their excuse for ignoring Clark. The WNBA had the audacity to say that her popularity might overshadow established stars like AIA Wilson and Brianna Stewart. Are you kidding me? That's like a band saying they don't want a superstar opening act because it might steal the show. Instead of embracing Clark and seeing how she could elevate the entire league, they chose the most childish, short-sighted route possible. How does a league supposedly all about empowering women manage to be this insecure?
I didn't hear one thing about there being too much spotlight on Caitlin Clark, and it should have maybe been on the professional golfers that are there. We didn't hear any of that. And those are the types of things that we have been hearing for the entirety of the WNBA season.
Let's be real, the WNBA's paranoid isn't just laughable, it's tragic. They're so focused on protecting their own little sandbox that they're missing the bigger picture. Caitlin Clark could have brought an army of new fans who'd end up watching both women's basketball and golf. But nope, the WNBA decided it was better to sulk, and gatekeepers sacrificing growth on the altar of their own pride. The league is clinging to a sense of exclusivity that's not just outdated, it's self-destructive.
There's immediate hesitancy. Is that a word? There's immediate hesitancy about giving Caitlin Clark too much praise. They didn't want to give her too much praise. They didn't want to prop her up too much and forget about everyone else who came before her.
The LPGA just gave a world-class masterclass on how to leverage star power, and the WNBA somehow found a way to become the prime example of what not to do. The LPGA saw Caitlin Clark and knew instantly, this isn't just an athlete, she's a game changer, a walking dribbling marketing miracle. So they brought her in not as a side act, but as a partner, and of course it paid off like a jackpot on steroids. The energy unreal, the fans young, vibrant, and diverse. The LPGA became the hottest ticket in town, all thanks to Clark.
If you look at the LPGA Twitter account, it is filled with Caitlin Clark things. Photos of her, a whole video of the fans cheering her, signing things, taking photos, their players hanging out with Caitlin, and obviously they're showing their golfer.
Meanwhile, the WNBA watched from the sidelines, holding on to their insecurity like a blanket. They could have embraced this cultural phenomenon and ridden the wave to unimaginable heights, but nope, they chose to stay petty and defensive, as if welcoming Caitlin Clark would somehow hurt their established stars. Give me a break, this isn't rocket science, it's common sense. Collaboration could have been the WNBA's golden ticket to growth. Instead, they opted for a full-blown panic attack over Clark's fame, because heaven forbid someone else in women's sports shines a little brighter, right?
Didn't want to put her on MVP ladders, didn't want to put her as Rookie of the Year until it was so evident that they had to. There was just so many things that it felt like it was always just a little bit of a push, like make sure you don't do too much. We don't want to give her too much praise. We don't want to tweet about her too much. We don't want to post about her too much. We don't want to give her too much media coverage.
The LPGA was out here making feel like royalty. And what did they get in return? Record-breaking social media engagement, a surge of younger viewers who probably couldn't name a single golfer before this, and a massive boost in visibility. Caitlin Clark didn't just show up, she transformed the landscape. She lit up the event, brought a tidal wave of new interest, and turned golf into the main attraction. You'd think any league with a shred of foresight would want a piece of that action.
The LPGA, you can see when it came to them that they were happy that Caitlin Clark was there. They knew exactly the value that Caitlin Clark brought.
But not the WNBA. Oh no, they decided to clutch their pearls and act like the high school clique that doesn't want anyone new sitting at their lunch table. They've convinced themselves that embracing Clark's massive appeal would somehow erase their own stars. It's insecurity on steroids. Instead of capitalizing on Clark's magnetic charisma, they've chosen to protect their own egos, completely missing that collaboration in women's sports isn't just smart, it's necessary. While the LPGA was busy making history, the WNBA was sitting in a corner sulking and sabotaging themselves.
We don't want to give her too much praise. We don't want to tweet about her too much. We don't want to post about her too much. We don't want to give her too much media coverage. Let's just make sure that everyone else is also happy. Like that seemed to be the consensus for the entire WNBA season.
Caitlin Clark is the real deal. Fans love her because she's genuine, passionate, and she brings an energy that transcends the basketball court. She's the type of player who can make anything go viral every time she steps into the spotlight. Social media goes wild. Kids see her and think, I want to be like Caitlin Clark. That's the kind of role model who breathes life into entire sports, the kind that brings in new generations of fans and inspires countless young athletes.
You see her at this event, you see the kind of noise that this is making, you see that this is trending on social media, you see that SportsCenter, Bleacher Report, all of these places, every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything.
And the WNBA had the audacity to think, nah, we don't need that. Unbelievable, they've missed out on a golden opportunity to boost ticket sales, increase engagement, and oh yeah, bring in a tidal wave of positive PR. Instead, they chose to act like Clark was some kind of threat for crying out loud. She's not even stealing the spotlight. She's expanding it. The WNBA could have had it all. They could have been the talk of the sports world, but instead they're clinging to their outdated mindset, and it's almost painful to watch.
Was the fact that the WNBA posted nothing, posted zero about Caitlin Clark golfing in this Pro-Am event. If you look at the LPGA,
the LPGA knew that by embracing Clark, they were fostering something bigger: growth, unity, an exciting new era. The WNBA, on the other hand, chose self-preservation over evolution. It's mind-boggling how short-sighted they're being. But here we are. The future of women's sports is all about adaptability and collaboration, not keeping things stagnant. Yet the WNBA somehow thinks it's above that. They'd rather stick to their exclusivity and watch as fans flock to sports that actually get it. Women's sports are on the brink of something huge, a moment where collaboration and shared stardom could change everything. But instead of embracing this era, the WNBA is busy sabotaging itself. They're acting like a toddler who doesn't want to share their toys. And it's beyond embarrassing. While the LPGA is writing the playbook on how to win, the WNBA is over here fumbling all because they're too petty to see that sharing the spotlight could benefit everyone. And let's be honest, that's not just bad strategy, it's downright stupid.